ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਡੈਨਵਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋਮਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦੂਕਧਾਰੀ ਨੇ 4 ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਗੋਲੀ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਕਤਲ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਖਮੀ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ। इस बारे लोकवुड पुलिस ने दस्सिया कि हमलावर मारिया गया। डैनवर के पुलिस मुखी ने प्रैस कॉन्फ्रेंस में यह भी कहा कि मध डैनवर में शाम 5 बजे तो पिछों शुरू हुई गोलीबारी में 2 औरतों की मौत हो गई है तो एक व्यक्ति जख्मी हो गया। थोड़ी देर बाद कुछ दूर एक व्यक्ति को गोली मार दी गई। उन्होंने यह भी कहा कि इस दौरान पुलिस ते शक्की विचाले मुकाबला होया जो उथों नेड़ले लेकवुड शहर विच भज गया।
In shootings involving the same male, this male offender was later located and died in a police officer involved shooting in the city of Lakewood. Now, no Denver police officers were involved in that incident in Lakewood, but I will provide the chronology of this kind of complex series of incidents that we had occurring. Yesterday at about 5:25 p.m., the Denver Police Department received a 911 call reporting a shooting that occurred at a business in the area of First Avenue and Broadway. The responding officers located 3 victims at that location. 2 adult females were found deceased inside the business. An adult male had been wounded by gunfire, had fled the business, and was located just south of the business on Broadway. That individual was transported to an area hospital. He remains in critical condition and is recovering. He is expected to survive from his injuries. At 5:31, the Denver Police Department received a report of a burglary in progress in the 200 block of West 6th Avenue. That's in the area of 6th Avenue and Bannock. The report was that an individual, a male, was attempting to gain access to a residence and force entry to a door. The offender did gain access to the residence. He pursued the occupants through the residence, which is also a part of a business. It's a dual-purpose building there. Gunshots were fired by the offender at the occupants. No injuries were sustained at that location. In the alley behind that residence business, there was a van that was set on fire, and at this point it appears that the offender was responsible for starting that fire. And we're working to determine the source and the ignition and how that came to be. At about 5:45, the Denver Police Department received a report of a shooting that occurred at a residence in the 1200 block of Williams Street near Cheeseman Park. In that incident, an adult male victim was shot and killed just inside of his residence there. The offender fled the location at that point. Investigators, the responding patrol officers were able to develop preliminary information on the offender's vehicle. That information was put out both to the Denver officers and then officers in the metro area to be on the lookout for. At about 5:49, so about 4 minutes later, in the area of 13th and Zuni, Denver police officers driving an unmarked vehicle located the vehicle that matched the suspect vehicle. And that vehicle was described as a black, early 2000s model Ford Econoline van. The officers initiated a vehicle pursuit as the offender did not yield to their attempts to stop him. They pursued him southbound on Zuni. He continued through 8th Avenue at Zuni where it dead ends and became stopped. The officers stopped their vehicle and the offender turned around and began firing at the officers. There was an exchange of gunfire involving 1 Denver police officer and the offender at that location.